What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Ripple, I want to go over some of the current data points and realistically where I see things going from here. Before we continue that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Ripple is down slightly, nothing too crazy. Good amount of volume still over the last 24 hours, so 1.79 billion. And this is something that I've really stated you need to continue to watch. But sentiment right now is just extremely low. And what I find rather comical is that over the last 1 month it is down 7.14%. So people are screaming that this is the worst investment whatsoever, but they're neglecting the point that over the last 1 year it is up 405%. And it's not just Ripple. Everything for the most part is going down. Over the last 7 days, you have Bitcoin 3%, Ethereum 6%, Ripple 6.6%. So a lot of things are going down. And I think just at the same time with the whole SEC lawsuit, how that did play out, just people were assuming that was going to, in among itself, take it to like $10. That's not realistic. One good catalyst that will add a lot of liquidity though, which most likely will be coming in 2025, is this right here. So a spot ETF. So this is something that has really propelled a lot of cryptocurrencies, other cryptocurrencies significantly higher. So most likely this will be the next big catalyst. But aside from that though, some recent updates, you did have this. Japan game developer Gumi invests 17 million in Ripple. And you're seeing more and more of these types of PRs. And so I think a lot of the smart money that actually does understand cryptocurrency is gravitating towards Ripple. And I think that is because of their utility. People that actually know what Ripple can do, it's going to be very advantageous to the economy going forward. And so a lot of these other kind of crap coins out there, such as Doge and many others, they're not going to last, in my opinion. But then again, what do I know? But I think it's all going to come down to utility, and even what the US government is doing, they're kind of focusing on the high utility ones. So that's going to be what really does matter in the foreseeable future. So as far as Ripple, yes, the sentiment is extremely low, but it's not just Ripple. Crypto Fear and Greed Index is under the fear category, 39. So that's really gone down quite significantly. But at the end of the day, this upcoming week could really change that. So we have a lot of big data points. So ISM manufacturing, JOLT numbers, we have ADP employment, ISM services, non-farm payroll, and unemployment. So this will change the dynamic and mentality of rate cuts for the upcoming September 17th meeting. So at the end of the day, if let's say we get a 25 or better yet, even a 50 basis point cut for this upcoming meeting, which right now I think the consensus is that it's going to be a 25, but that's going to raise people's appetite for risk. And that ultimately is one of the biggest driving factors for cryptocurrency. So I get it. Right now, sentiment is very low, not just with Ripple, but across the board, but that is going to most likely change this week. So you can be smart investors, catch on early, get in early, or you can be sheep and kind of follow the herd after things start to really go higher. But at the end of the day, if you are wanting to kind of orient your bias towards next support levels or whatever else, with it right now at 277, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 271 followed by 255 is going to be support levels. Flip side, 296 and then 321 is going to be the next round target / resistance points. So it's not really that far from being down and out. It's kind of obviously pulled back a little bit, but as many other cryptocurrencies did. So next target, just watch for 296. But in my opinion, like I said, this week will be pretty big and potentially push it to this pivot point right here. So once again, you can get in early and do that. But no matter what, Ripple, I think the reason why a lot of people are freaking out is just that they went in way too heavy. I've signaled time and time again, best way to do it with Ripple is to dollar cost average. It's very difficult to catch the bottom and very difficult to sell at the top, right? So best way to do it, dollar cost average. I will continue to say that time and time again. One thing I do want to bring up though is right over here. And so ultimately you can kind of see just generally how things are playing out. So it is below that 10-day moving average. So that's typically seen as kind of the momentum. And so of course it matches with that crypto and fear index, so things just haven't really been there. Sentiment is very low, but it ultimately is going to be bouncing off that 100-day moving average sitting at 267. So at the end of the day, I think on a technical standpoint, things are ready to really move higher. Stochastic RSI, it is very oversold. So last time it's been like that, it goes through a nice little push higher, roughly around a good 5 to 10%. And even just generally looking at this right over here from the flow, you see a lot of big money still maintaining and getting in. And this is something I've really mentioned that you need to really watch for, is just what big money is doing. And overall, you can kind of see from this blue line right here that overall it is going down. And I think a lot of that has to do with the algorithmic trading. So a lot of this column for the S, so the smaller transactions, that does really mean algorithmic trading. So algos, I think, are just feeding off of the broader market's negativity and causing Ripple to go down and get dragged down. But if you kind of follow the other data points, big money is still buying. So let me know your general thoughts. What do I know in life? You guys do your own due diligence and all the other fun jazz, but I do really like Ripple. This is my favorite one out there, has the most utility, especially given the circumstances, aside from most likely Bitcoin. So let me know your thoughts on Ripple. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with it behind the scenes? And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.